Physicalism is the worldview that suggests that there is nothing more to this universe than its physicality. That there is no thing that exists in this reality that goes beyond its pure physicality. Everything is nothing more than subatomic matter, atomic matter, compounds, chains of DNA, neurochemistry, reactions, UV rays, ultraviolet radiation, gamma radiation, stardust. All of these things are equivalent in that they are all physical. They are equivalent in that they are all physical. What does it mean that they are all physical? They can all be reduced down to matter that is subatomic and atomic. Meaning everything to ever exist, down to its roots, is the same, so to speak, in that they all share the characteristic of they are what they are, or they just are. For example, under the physicalist paradigm, this neck stretcher thing that I have in my hand is nothing more than what it is. It doesn't have a label because the label itself that we gave it is nothing more than a neurochemical pattern, nothing more than oxygen coming out of my lungs, my vocal cords buzzing, and my lips moving. Though that's what words are under physicalism. Meaning the label itself that we gave this is an illusion. The label is nothing more than its physicality, just like this is nothing more than its physicality. Everything just is. There is no, this isn't what it is and something else at the same time. It just is. And that applies to everything. If physicalism is taken to its logical endpoint. But if people are dishonest and they want to go ahead and say, well, I mean, there's some things under physicalism that can be meaningful or true or no. Meaning, truth, those things are not characteristics of the physical. You cannot go ahead and say this is true because then you're going away from physicalism like we just described. This isn't anything other than what it is under physicalism. This just is. So for you to say that this is true is to deviate from physicalism's logical conclusion, meaning that truth itself is a metaphysical essence. Now some might say, oh, well, truth is possible under physicalism because there is an amalgamation of this atomic matter. There is an amalgamation of these neural patterns that create a brain that gives us consciousness. Yes, but that's not proving anything. That's not disproving the premises that the logical conclusion of physicalism posit. That doesn't do anything. Sure, so that's emergentism, right? They're appealing to functionalism and emergentism. All that does is pretty much say, well, I mean, physical things, atomic matter, and neural patterns, they can come in all different shapes and sizes and have a lot of different sequences that lead to a sort of, correspondence. Meaning, under functionalism, if I see with my senses an object in front of me, and I see it through sensory perception, that light that bounced off the object to go into my eyes, that went into my head, and then created the statement, I see something over there, that statement would be true because there is some sort of process that leads to a correspondence between what I saw and what's going on in my head. That's not true though, because that requires intentionality. That requires aboutness, meaning the neurons in my head would have to be about something else. But we're now deviating from physicalism again because this isn't about anything, and this is atomically equivalent to the neurons of my brain, which means the neurons of my brain, no matter the correspondence that we're speaking of, can never be about anything. There isn't an aboutness to an atomic mass. There isn't an aboutness to a large physical mass, whether it be a brain or this thing or anything. It doesn't matter the size and complexity of the physical process or sequence. As long as it remains purely physical, it can never be associated with something other than it just is. Meaning it can't be about something. It can't be intentioned towards, or that's not a word, it can't have an intentionality towards anything. Everything just is. So even under an emergentist, functionalist perspective of physicalism, it doesn't matter. we could agree with the statement, we can know that, okay, we can all agree, it doesn't matter what worldview you have, we can all agree that reality exists. We can also agree that we can see stuff, right? Now, this is true. What I'm positing is that if I grant the worldview of physicalism and I say, let's just say it is true, the very intelligibility that we are appealing to is impossible, because truth itself is gone. The statement you speak after seeing an object in front of you, and that statement being, I see an object in front of me, isn't anything other than its pure physicality, meaning there isn't any words or statements or posits happening. Meaning that a physicalist cannot say physicalism is true if I grant the worldview and say physicalism is true. This violates the law of non-contradiction, eliminating the possibility of physicalism or materialism being true. Therefore, physicalism is false.